Bonjour, it's Bomgiizhik from Gnabajing. I'm from a little village called OJIBWAYCONNECTIONS. I'm from the Fish Clan, and it's a great honor to be here with you today. I want to talk a little bit about plants and the important roles that plants have in our lives. So for the Anishinaabe people, we lived our lives in this beautiful green blanket. We were weaved into this sacred blanket, this green blanket that covers our lands. And of course, we become so connected to these plants that they become a part of our whole being. You know, they say that every plant that we see can talk to us. They say that every plant has a spirit and that it can communicate with us, and that they do all the time, and that they have a spirit. So years ago, my grandmother would always say, you know, if you want to know something, go in the bush, go sit down in the forest and ask the forest. One time I had a question. I wanted to know something very important. So I went walking around the forest. I started to ask flowers, do you know the answer to this? Then I'd ask a tree. Then I would ask a different type of a plant. Then I seen a root sticking out. I asked that root. By the end of that afternoon, I knew more than enough. The knowledge, it comes into you. They say that for every sickness that comes on this earth, there's a remedy from the plants. That's what they say. The old people always said that. For every sickness, there's a remedy by the plants. A long time ago, the human beings, the two-legged, lost their way, and they waged war on the animals. They tried to kill them all. They became greedy. And it was the Bear Nation that got together and said, let's fight them. Let's fight back. And the bears tried to fight back the humans, trying to kill them because they were so bad. But they couldn't win. And so there was a big council meeting amongst the animals. And the animals said, let's use our magic and we'll curse the humans and we'll make them sick and they'll die so they can stop tormenting everything in the forest. And so that's what they did. They started to use their magic and people started to get sick. The deer would make a curse that would give people bad leg cramps so they couldn't go hunting. They could barely walk. The spiders would put webs in people's brains so that they wouldn't think right. The fish would make the waters horrible and rough and give them nightmares. The animals were winning this battle. There is one little animal that decided to try to save the humans because there were still some good humans left. And that little animal thought, you know what? I have to try to save the good in people because there's still good there. And it actually told the humans, this little animal, what was going on. And that little animal is a chipmunk. So the humans knew that they were being cursed, and that's why they were dying. And so the chipmunk said, I'm going to go petition on your behalf to the plants and see if they can help. So of course, you know, the human beings were so scared about this sickness. They had lit big fires in the forest. They were burning down the forest. They were burning the plants down, the very thing that could help them. So the chipmunk went to the plants and said, they're scared. They lost their way and they need wisdom and guidance. Can you help them? They're pitiful. And the plants said, yes, we can help them. We can cure every sickness that comes. We can do this. Tell them we're going to help. And so the chipmunk went back and told the people, the plants are going to help. And so the plants started to give remedies to all the people that were having different sicknesses caused by the animals. And of course the people got better again. And after that, they made peace with the animals. And of course they held them up to be leaders of their government so that they would never lose their way again. And so that's an old story that I heard. The animals got mad at Chipmunk too for tattletaling. And they tried to get that Chipmunk, but Chipmunk was fast and would always run underneath a piece of wood. And they could never quite catch Chipmunk, but they'd scratch his back all the time as it was running. And that's why Chipmunk has those lines on its back, because it was always just barely getting away. When we see those lines, those are sacred lines. All those lines on that chipmunk's back remind us that we have to be kind to our lands. We have to be kind to the animals. We can only take what we need. That the animals always need to be the leader of our government. And that whenever we take something, we're grateful. Because when an animal gives its life, it gives all of its life. And when we get sick, when we take a plant, that plant also gives a part of its life. Sometimes all of it. And so that's what those stripes represent. There's teachings in all of those stripes on how we're supposed to live and how we're supposed to treat each other and our natural world. Because we're weaved into this beautiful green blanket in our forest, it's very important that we respect the balance of everything. That's the only way that we can stay in there. As the two-legged, if we decide to leave this blanket and we decide to kick out the animals out of our government, and if we start creating our own laws, and if we start creating our own roads, if we stop following those animal trails like we were instructed, then of course there'll be a consequence. The old people always said that the great laws by man do not fall above our natural laws. They're not above this great law that's here, that exists in this earth. And that the minute that we think that our laws are stronger and better, then a great catastrophe will happen. And we're seeing that now. Right now, the world is suffering a massive ecological collapse because we have lost our way. So we have to understand the natural laws. The Chinaknagay they call them, the great laws that exist here. And understanding the plants and understanding our relationship and our agreements with the plants and animals will help reset the balance that we need to live and function, to be a part of this beautiful green blanket in our forest. I often think about the time that we're in now. I think about, what we're doing, how we're living, the decisions that we make. We have to go back to seek wisdom from our plants, from our trees. That's very important because they have something to tell us. They've heard our languages for thousands of years. When we're trying to get something back, we go see them. They know all of our songs, our languages, our ceremonies. They know all of the remedies. They know everything. It's all there. So when we go back to them and we give them gifts, that knowledge will come back. When we put our young children out to fast in the forest, that knowledge will come back. We have to weave our children into this beautiful green blanket. The globalization of Western education is wiping out Indigenous knowledge en masse. It's time to turn around and go back and to learn from the land. The land is our greatest teacher. It's our greatest provider. It's the one that nourishes us and gives us life. Nahaw miigwech, thank you for listening to this. Hopefully it made sense. Okay, so Bama Pig Wab Min Minwa, and I will hopefully talk to you again soon. Nahaw miigwech, thank you.